Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Rust Console Update 1.007, and this patch is honestly a turning point for how fights, base raids, and even scouting work on console. I've been hands-on since it dropped, and I want to walk you through what actually matters when you load in after the wipe, how to get practical value out of the new toys as a date, and a bunch of little fixes that will change your day-to-day without you realizing it at first. We'll keep it real, straight talk, no fluff, just what you need to get ahead on your next run. Let's start with the new landmark that's going to shape the meta from the second you spawn, the abandoned military base. This isn't some background scenery, it's a desert-only monument that can roll different layouts each map, and it comes with armed patrols and the real star of the show, the MLRS. If you've played on Steam, you know exactly how terrifying that acronym is when you hear the rockets whistle. But on console, we've been waiting for this exact flavor of chaos. The important part is that the launcher doesn't move, it's fixed at these bases. So your whole strategy is going to hinge on controlling access to it, or at least planning around who's likely to control it on your server. The base being desert exclusive also funnels contest into a predictable biome, which makes map reading and travel routes absolutely critical from day one. Now, the MLRS itself. Here's the plain English version. You can fire a barrage almost anywhere on the map, except safe zones, but there's a checklist. You need MLRS rockets and an MLRS aiming module, both of which come from locked crates. The aiming module is consumed on use, one shot. Then you need another module if you want to blast again. And there's a global cooldown of 20 minutes between firings. This means you can't spam it. It's more like a precision sledgehammer you pull out at the right moment to open a hole in a base, disrupt a roof camp, or punish a clan that decided to turtle behind high external walls. Think of it as a tool that demands map control, crate control, and timing. So if your group spots a locked crate event, get organized and treat it like a raid objective, because that loot is what gives you the keys to the launcher. If you're wondering how to actually use it efficiently, here's a scenario that works. You've got a 2x2 crew on a monthly server. You've managed to snag one aiming module and a few rockets from a crate. Don't waste that window. Send your most confident navigator to the desert base while the rest of your team stalks the target, maybe a compound that kept sniping your road runs. You coordinate a ping for the grid and a marker, set the coordinates in the launcher, and you call the shot in voice. The rockets hit, your ground team rushes to capitalize, and you get that minute or two of confusion where even larger groups can fall apart. The cooldown means you won't be able to chain multiple strikes back to back, so make the first one count. Also, don't forget that safe zones are off limits, so plan for targets that are fair game and worth the module. But the patch isn't only about long-range destruction. Scouting just got a major glow-up with RC drones. These are craftable, player-controlled drones you operate from a computer station, and you can unlock them at Tier 2 or find them as loot. For small groups, this is quietly one of the best power multipliers in the update. You can send a drone to check if outpost is camped, to peek a monument before you risk your kit, or to watch a raid from a safe distance and third party when both sides are weak. Build a tiny scout nook with a computer station inside your base, stash some extra drones in a box, and use them like disposable intel tools. Even if the drone dies, the information you got, who's active, what they're wearing, how many turrets, what angles are exposed, pays for itself. Let's talk guns, because there are 5 new ones, and they absolutely change the texture of fights. Early game just got spicier, with the handmade SMG and the high-caliber revolver both being craftable, and the SKS gives semi-auto fans a new way to play mid-range. On the rare loot side, the Minigun and the Military Flamethrower drop from heavy scientists, so oil runs and higher-tier PvE are going to feel more rewarding. Here's how I'd slot them into your plans. The handmade SMG is your brutish room clearer for tight bases and compound doorways. The SKS is for the teammate who lands careful shots and hates spraying. The revolver is a chunky sidearm that slaps way harder than it looks. The minigun is the everyone get behind me tool if you're pushing a choke, and the military flamethrower is obviously nasty for soft side griefing and close quarters denial. Try them all during a roam day to see who in your squad clicks with which role, because that loadout synergy matters more now that Recoil is different. Yes, Recoil has changed, and this is huge. The devs matched the Recoil system to the Steam version, which means a few things. Patterns will feel more predictable than the old console behavior, and the skill ceiling for controlled bursts is going to be more about discipline than wrestling random shakes. This is the moment to relearn your favorite rifles and SMGs. Spend 15 minutes in a quiet corner and just practice bursts on a wall, track a tree, snap to a rock and back. You'll notice view model sway got an update too, and there's an optional head bob while walking or sprinting that you can toggle off if it bothers you. I recommend turning the bob off if you're a competitive player who gets motion distracted, but it's a personal preference thing. Either way, the combination of new recoil and animation polish makes the gunplay feel fresher and closer to what you've seen in clips from PC. A fan favorite location has also made its comeback, military tunnels. It's not just nostalgia, they've tuned performance there, Minigun this manner, which should make it smoother to run and less likely to hitch during those tense peaks. Between the tunnels, the desert base, and the drones, you've now got a triangle of PvE, PvP loops that feed into each other. You farm components and practice at tunnels, you chase lock crates for MLRS gear, and you use drones to recon both. Expect way more mid-map encounters as folks rotate between these spots. There's a pile of gameplay fixes that deserve shoutouts because they quietly reduce those what just happened moments. Crashes have been cut in a few places. Tugboat interactions are more reliable, so you can dismount, stop the engine, and get to fuel storage even when you've got auto drive on. Scrap transport helicopters shouldn't randomly flip and lose health when they're in drive mode anymore, and delivery drones won't get deleted by terrain in the middle of a run. Auto turrets are behaving. They correctly damage unauthorized players, and they won't self-own with every shot. And there's a small but very welcome touch. You can now cancel actions by letting go of the button while a loading bar is in progress, which saves you from that committed to a bad pickaxe swing feeling. Visual polish is all over the place in the best way. Foliage looks better across biomes, clouds don't do weird pops when leaving military tunnels, and a ton of sight picture issues got cleaned up. No more ultra-shaky ADS models, tracer offsets on the HMLNG are corrected, reticles come back properly with simple handmade or holo sights, and there are proper bullet and melee impact decals on more surfaces. Flamethrower flames look and feel closer to the Steam version, and its model has been corrected too. It's the kind of visual pass that doesn't show up on a loot table, but immediately makes fights feel cleaner to read and more satisfying to watch in a clip. The UI pass matters for sanity. Favorite locker items won't reset when you rejoin, engine component icons are aligned, module UIs filter correctly, reclaimed terminal slots don't overlap, and a bunch of stray prompts like change seat popping up where it shouldn't are gone. If you play with binocular pings, you'll appreciate the tooltip fix so it doesn't hang around when you select something. It all adds up to fewer weird little clicks that break your flow mid-fight or during a speedy loot run. Zooming back out, the devs are calling this a tactical warfare moment for a reason. The whole point is to encourage more planning and more roles. Maybe you've got a teammate who becomes the drone pilot, keeping eyes on a monument while the rest of you approach from a split angle. Maybe your base group puts a mini mission board next to the tool cupboard where you pin your next lock crate trait target because your MLRS module stash is getting low. It's not just more guns and a big launcher. It's systems that reward teams for thinking a couple moves ahead, which I'm absolutely here for. And if you've been playing on older consoles, there's a note in the dev blog that community servers remain open on old gen for the time being, but the push is firmly toward new gen, where they want to take things further. That gives you a pretty clear picture of where performance and feature work is headed. So how should you play the first 48 hours after wipe with all this in mind? Here's a rhythm that's been working. First session, don't tunnel vision on the base. Aim for a compact starter with smart bags spread around the desert perimeter. As soon as you've got tier 2 access, craft a computer station and a couple of drones and set up a little recon closet in your base's safest corner. Use the drone to watch for road traffic and monument campers while your gatherer runs components. Keep an ear out for locked crate events and be honest about your odds. If you're outgunned, you can still third party after the heavy hitters clash.